move that in. I have a cat on my lap who's very comfortable and very warm, so I'm going to have to be cooling myself with a fan. And just to compound things, I'm going to be having some tea. So I have been doing a bit of crafting, which is in this absolutely terrible port UI, you know, that they'll update one of these days. And there goes the cat. Nope, that's moving around. Steeping a little Russian caravan. So yeah, terrible port UI. Crafting, which isn't too bad. It's mostly here on the craft tab. You go over to ships, you say, I want to make an Agamemnon or whatever. You choose what frame and what trim, and it tells you what you need. And then you can say, oh, I only have 6 out of 64 knees. And you can click on knees, and you can craft some more knees if you've got the parts, and you can go back. And that's easy. Or you can just go directly into casting or shipbuilding and say, I want to build knees over here. Whatever. But once you build the ship, then have this in my docks here. It's a decent ship. Mahogany frame, teak planking, very cramped. It's got, oops, I don't actually have it equipped. It's got 3 permanent upgrade slots, which is about standard for a ship you make in Mortimertown or other green zone capitals. It is, I don't know the exact numbers, but if you make a ship in a capturable port, you're more likely to get more upgrade slots, which is nice. Not that there's anything, you know, historical about that. It's just a good way to encourage people to put their shipbuilding infrastructure in dangerous ports that can be captured, which I have not done. Oh well. Making tea right where my keyboard should be. But 3 upgrade slots is okay by me. But I want to sell this one. I didn't make it to keep, even though it has very cramped, which gives it extra crew. 880, that's not bad, right? Like you can withstand boarding from Victory, maybe. Maybe almost. You're still, you know, about on par with them. But I don't care that much about it. So I'm going to sell it. So I've gone over to the ships tab, looked for the St. Pavel, to decide about what price I should sell it for. Looks like they're going for $2 million to $2.3 million. This one is teak white oak, very sturdy. This is live oak white oak. This is live oak white oak sturdy. The woods I made mine out of a little bit worse than live oak white oak, so I'm probably going to sell it for just a little bit less. Take the St. Pavel. Let's sell it for $2 million. It'll cost you the taxes that you would get right out the gate, so you have to have that handy to pay. So $200,000 I can afford. Put it on sale and hope that someone buys this. You get a letter that you put it on sale. So anyway, from there I'm going to go back to Atwood where I've got my vessels. Also going to not oversteep my tea. Let's see where we want to go from here. May as well take the St. Pavel out since I was just talking about it. It's a pretty nice ship. I've got some upgrades on this one, not too many. Mix of longs and carronades. Should be decent. Wish I had more hull repairs. Always need more hull repairs. I mean, the hull does take a beating. So, I have just finished a bunch of things on my reading list. And next, I have this. 2 Years Before the Mast, Richard Henry Dana. It's a classic, 1834 or so. He leaves his cushy, comfortable life as a Harvard undergrad and heads out. No. I need to take a Bellona on this. I'm never going to catch a trader's brig in that. Leaves his cushy Harvard undergrad life and heads out to be a sailor. So that should be some good reading. Alright, let's... No. Everything's wrong. Don't have any repairs on here. I don't want all of those. Let's take, I don't know, 30. And let's take half of those. Let's take all of those. And let's put to sea. I also have the something sheet anchor, which is a book about what you... Okay, yeah, this is going to be a big tack. The sheet anchor is a book about, like, sort of basic seamanship skills, sort of thing that a midshipman in the period might want to read. I've been learning about different kinds of line and different ways to prepare it. Ooh, that's nice. It's a mixture of a lapsang souchong and a kimun and something else. I'm not going to catch that trader's brig anytime soon. Well, once I round this headland, I might actually get a clear line towards it, and that's only going to improve as a point of sail as the wind comes around. Yeah, I was saying to Mark Bonney the other day when we were playing that I really would like a detailed weather simulation in this game, but that I think that any such simulation would have to incorporate the sorts of traditional knowledge that were common in the time for predicting the weather, and I guess still are common. I think it would be really cool to sort of be like scanning the horizon, not just for other sails, but for, okay, how's the weather going to change? Slightly oversteeped. I got distracted. Oh well. Is there anyone worth hunting out here? So the St. Pavel lacks bow chasers, and bow chasers are really helpful if you want to engage in piracy. Otherwise, you've got to yaw, bring your broadside to bear, and, aww, that thing's gonna get away. Yaw, bring your broadside to bear, and just loose a broadside of chain shot at them, hope you wreck their sails. But you have to get close enough for that. In the first place, you have to not be, like, heeling too far over to have the, like, yaw actually hit their sails and not the sides of their ship. You need to be able to not lose too much distance and time by yawing. Like, bow chasers are really where it's at if you're going to be a pirate. So that's why this is, to my mind, the sort of definite ship of the pirates. This and the Vasa, which has 4 bow chasers. But unfortunately, you can only get that with PvP marks, not crafting, so I haven't gotten it yet. I have very few PvP marks, and I'm saving them up. Look at their little sails disappearing. Oh, and I ran aground again. I am, without a doubt, the worst pirate. Not that you've ever heard of, just the worst pirate. Though actually, I think that that's Gentleman Stede Bonnet, who is one of my favorite historical pirates. Alma Ladaka, that's a friendly player, can't attack them or anything. But I don't know the waters around here as well. I've just started sailing out of Atwood, and it has been interesting getting to know that there's a hidden sandbar out there, for example. Alright, last seen somewhere to the southeast. They're probably headed into Mayaguana, which is right over here. It's unfortunately a shallow harbor, so I can't even get there. That's the thing about the Bahamas, full of shallows. keep a weather eye at. Atwood's a nice place to be based out of, though. I've got a pretty much straight south shot down to Mortimer for some trade runs. It's reasonably close to Deadman's Key still for, clan purposes. Pittstown is still pirates, but it's open to all now, which makes it a little bit more of a dangerous place to start from. Meanwhile, the Russians are taking Parrot Key from us. We tried to take Puerto Escondido from the Prussians, failed. This is your weekly geopolitics update, right? Key West is a VCO pirate port. Cabo de Sal, Languilla are pirates. But all of this is at risk from the Spanish, especially Key West, which is, I think... okay. There are actually a few deepwater ports in the Keys. There we go. Now I'm catching up with this trader's brig. Yar. And no one around to hunt me. So, don't care about nation chat today. So yeah, the pirates are kind of always on their back foot. We're hated by everyone. At least we have this Cuban coast. That's nice. Might head down there and base out of there for a bit. We used to have a bunch of coast down here on the Gulf of Columbus, Costa Rica and stuff, but no one defended that. We lost it. Oh well. They're going to get into the harbor before I can get them. It's okay, I'll get this French trader's brig as they leave before I run aground, which seems plausible. So, yeah, the pirates are always hated, always on the back foot. That's the way of it. But, even if we are attacked in PvP, there is something fun about having to put up with that. Ooh, we have one Floridian port as well. That's nice. Might head over there, but that's going to be PvP Central, I suppose. Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. Should not look at the map while trying to engage in piracy. And I run aground, but I'm still spinning around. Here we go. Here we go. Let's have a nice beam reach. So I haven't been out on the actual water much lately. It's hard being landlocked, and it's also hard being busy with all of the million things that one is busy with. That's just overshot. That's okay. Oh well. The weather is starting to turn here. We're starting to get some very autumnal weather, which I think is pretty nice as a way of sort of having, reasonable wind enough to... Oh my god, which way are they going to turn? That's what all this depends on. Since I'm in such a bad spot, if they turn... they're gonna pay off downwind just a little bit and turn away from me, which means I had better wear to get around right as quickly as I can, even though I'm close to these shallows, and try and catch up with them. Let's get everyone sailing as best we can. Make that happen. Oh, and let's also load chain in the bow chasers, which I forgot to do. Yeah. So I don't know to what extent pirates would actually use disabling shot. I think in most realistic situations, they would, hoist the Jolly Roger, if you want to call it that, and their prey would surrender. Like, most people would not want to risk battle with pirates when they had insurance. But obviously in this game, merchant vessels tend to run, and Oh, they're not paying off downwind. They're actually trying to stand and fight. Which is funny because they're a trader's brig. In this game, merchants will run and warships will stand and fight, and there's no other real option, right? The AI will never surrender. Never give up, never surrender. I don't want to go much more into the wind on the Bellona, but this Bellona is a bit more maneuverable than St. Pavel's I've been in, so that should help. There we go. Shred their sails a little. And I don't need to get XP on this, so I can just board them. That'll be nice. Maybe I can take their sails off as we swing by. Take their masts off if I'm lucky. Now. Alright. So, tacking. Turning with your bow through the wind. In a square-rigged vessel like this, generally you want to turn your main and mizzen sails so that they squarely get all the wind, and turn your fore sails so that your foreyards so that they're like parallel with the wind. That way, there'll be a lot of wind pressure on the back of your boat, turning it around, swinging the front around, or swinging the back around while the front stays more or less in one spot. The wind pressure is a little bit more subtle than that, but that's broadly what's happening. If you were really doing this for real on a square-rigged vessel, I'm given to understand that you would want to reduce the amount of canvas that you have out to begin with, particularly on the mizzen, as that sort of maneuver, backing through the wind like I just did, like I was pushed back a bit, is stressful on the masts. And because you want to sort of control it in a more fine-grained way than you can in this game. I would love to talk with someone who knows more about what they're doing there. Alright. Starting to build up some way. Hey, come here. You're good. Cat's mewing at me. And cut a nice big hole in their spanker. So yeah, I've talked a bit about the rigging. You can't fully see it here, I guess, but we should have stays, which are stays and shrouds are standing rigging, and they're holding the masts in place. We should then have sheets that control the angle of the yards. So, you know, the sails aren't just moving around because the wind tells them to. I can sort of control them by hand and put them counter to the direction we want. Even the spanker there on the back is, it's going to be buffeted by the wind a bit, but within the constraints imposed on it by the sheets. Let's destroy their topsails a bit. Come here, come here. You get to be on stream. I know, you're not certain about that. Alright, catching up with them. It would be nice to have encountered an actual warship, but there were two traders' brigs, so take what you can get. It's a good way to make money in the game, right? They're carrying precious cargoes, sometimes cargoes that, you know, are worth significantly more than the gold you would otherwise find. Now let's actually turn off most of my guns, because really only the bow chasers matter right now. Ooh, tearing through the sails. Yeah, getting ready to board. Boarding is our game right now. There was some discussion about the boarding in Maybe it was Sid Meier's Pirates. I don't know. That's what people usually compare this to. Maybe it was something else. And how much better that is than the sort of, click a button Rochambeau in this game. And I think it's an interesting design problem, though, because this is, a multiplayer real-time game. You can't really, have a detailed boarding that, drops into first person or something without, really derailing it for anyone else playing, as far as I can figure. Not really sure what the best approach might be. But it's interesting to consider. I've been doing a lot of sort of game design thinking lately as I play Cultist Simulator, which is so my jam, but not really good for stream. I might try and do an edited thing, but there's a lot of sort of patient waiting in it, which is not the most thrilling. I should have done that turn earlier. My yards take time to turn. And now I need to turn them the other way. Tighten this up. Should be good enough to cut their speed. And I'll back just a little bit. Get me closer to them. Shedding speed like crazy now that I'm into the wind. There we go. So yeah, Cultist Simulator, a lot of waiting, not good stream stuff, but it's been giving me lots of game design thoughts. The sorts of thing Alexis Kennedy does with text are really interesting. And, this is at about the level of text, I guess. Let's attack. Can't fire deck guns for some reason. I'm not entirely sure why. But since I have 192 muskets, I'm going to, at the last minute, change this to a musket volley. Hope that wrecks their desire to do anything. Switch back to attack. And see how 638 versus 36 goes. With almost, in full and unfull morale. Alright. Danish yeasts and Russian vodka. That's a heavy cargo. And I'm going to just move enough people over. Confirm I have them. Take them back to Atwood as a prize. I suppose in this context it's not a prize of war per se. You're not really, at war with anyone, or we're at war with everyone. Anyway, I'm about in the direction I want, I guess. Ugh. Bad weather, bad weather. Alright. There's no way I should be going with bursts of up to 70 knots. What is going on? There we go. Now the game figured out the speed I should go at this angle of the wind. Can't really make out where Atwood is. For captured ships like this, I've taken to just breaking them up and not even selling them. Money isn't quite the issue, and I get enough money from the cargo. It's nice to get some sort of useful shipbuilding materials out of them. Save myself some trouble, I guess. Oh, the sound of the rain. The sheets of rain coming down. This is my idea of the Caribbean. Caribbean in storms. Oh, who's this coming up? It's a little privateer. Barely worth engaging with, especially with a prize in tow. Which they can attack much more usefully than trying to attack me. Well, we'll see. We'll see. I might go after a larger vessel if it shows itself. So here on the big map, the Great Bahama Bank is shallow draft. Water is not deep enough for a Bellona or anything like that, but I can take my Requin in there, which I've begun really liking. Been playing around with it. That xebec-rigged is nothing to sneeze at. And it's super fast, very maneuverable. It's not maneuverable like a square-rigged vessel. It's weird. Maybe I'll take it out after I bring this into Atwood. I need to get used to it. I think those are the towers of Atwood, so bearing further into the wind. Now, an actual square-rigged vessel like this could not travel this close to the wind. I mean, even a modern, like, fore and aft rigged sailboat barely can. Would have to be doing real big tacking, just back and forth, and sometimes just waiting for the wind to change to be better. Just, lying to while we wait. But for the purposes of the game, I understand why they sort of let you travel even directly into the wind in the overworld. Let's get another steeping out of this. And drop just a little almost boiling water on my leg. That seems fine. There we go. The sound of the tea things. There goes the privateer. And here go we. I think. There's Atwood. Can't lose sight of it in this storm. It would be a pity to sail past it, because then I would just be sailing like I was near Marijuana here. I would be sailing from about here to like out into the wild blue nothing. I would eventually hit like South Carolina or something. But let's actually draw a line just so that we know how far off from ideal we are. Now I'm going to start bringing myself back around towards ideal so I don't totally lose it. Look at that sea. Here we go. Right up on the deck. Standing right near the bowsprit, looking out under the sails, feeling it rising and lowering. There's the ship's bell. Here's a vent so that you can actually breathe when you're under the decks. Whoa! Here is the capstan, but it's huge. That's a consistent thing with the way they model ships in this game. Their capstans seem to be a little bit oversized. Come up. Whoa, that twists. Cool. Well, we come up here. We're walking. Here's the ship's wheel. Let's see if I can explain a ship's wheel real quick. So, you have a tiller, and a tiller, you've got this rod, and you've got the rudder, and you turn the rod this way, and the rudder goes that way, and you turn it the other way, and it goes that way. So that's all that's happening at the core of it. Trader's Brig, not worth it. But what you do is you turn it with rope. So you have this barrel, and you wrap the rope around it a few times, then you have the ends, and the ends go through some pulleys down here, and then those ends go out from the pulleys, and then they go to some other pulleys, and they come back and join on the tiller. So that means if you twist this, it'll pull the rope, and the rope through these pulleys will then go this way and pull the rudder one way, and this way and pull the rudder the other way. I think that's super cool, and I have definitely oversteeped my tea now. So I'm going to pour that out and see just how undrinkable it is. See, this is why I drink scotch on stream usually, because it doesn't require any attention like that, just the attention when I put it in my mouth and enjoy the flavors. It's a little bit demanding to be paying attention to all of the things that a ship in a naval battle is doing. Oh, it's fine. Second steeping on what's mostly smoked black tea. Yeah, it'll be just fine. All right. Making our way up there. The whole, I mean, everything, even, especially on the open world, but even in the battle instances, is sped up. But, like, not too sped up. Like I've said, it's not a Twitch game. That's something I like about it. But like when you consider the Battle of Trafalgar and, 45 minutes from the victory, like entering the range of the first French cannons to really like getting stuck in pell-mell, 45 minutes of enduring, French, not necessarily broadsides, but at least cannon fire, and just keep going. We've got the better part of an hour just to get there since they started shooting at us. Like, that's pretty intimidating. Let's bear up. Pretend that heading direct into the wind is fine. It's fine, everything's fine. It is beautiful, though. A calm and stormy sea. You'd expect there to be some winds and to have more whitecaps on the water, but they don't quite model it in that detail, I guess. Anyway, the slow pace of the sort of lead-up to a naval battle before it's really like, oh god, the cannonballs are flying, we're really actually doing this, aren't we? Is sort of perfect for the sipping scotch or sipping tea. You get to really have the lead up to it. Another human player. What are they in? They're in Diana, maybe? No, the white stripe down the side is different. But it is a frigate with royals. I can't identify it. Still working on that practice. Yeah, we have a few folks here. Hello, folks. Yes. Ahoy, Grundle. Okay, maybe not. Awesome. Maybe just meant to message me. Bring your prize into Atwood, then would be happy to hunt with you. I don't know who this person is. I should actually see, maybe what clan they are. Quintax. Everyone's like XXXX. X. It's hard to say X 5 times. That's why I tend to just say Quintax. And as a rank demon, I believe. Sure. I will know who this person is for future whatnot. As a demon, I think is their rank. Did I get that right? Yeah. They've been at it reasonably long. Similar start date to mine. Cool. You'd probably be pretty evenly matched. Not matched, for fighting each other, but matched for, fighting with each other. English is hard sometimes, and yet it is my native tongue. Oh, slowly into Atwood. Here's the thing about Atwood. You see those two arms? You see those two arms here? It's a very protected harbor, but that means that when the wind is against you, getting into it or getting out of it, you just have to deal with it. You just have to slowly tack in and out. Alas. Sunlight coming through. Dark on the other side. That was this 9:50 p.m. Caribbean time. 8:50 rather. It is pretty gorgeous. I feel like if I'm going to keep talking about weather systems, I should probably just do a bunch of research onto actual meteorology and figure out sort of, what my proposed system would be, but I guess I'm not quite there yet. I'm diving into other game design things, as I was alluding to. I have some pen and paper games I'm working on designing, including one that's drawing a bit from Cultist Simulator, where you're alchemists pursuing, various alchemical works, from the universal solvent to the philosopher's stone that'll turn things to gold and stuff like that. Attacking in a vessel like this, I think it's technically faster, especially given the constraints of the game, but like, ugh. Ooh, who's out there? Yeah, cutter. No way I would catch them in this. Alright. Almost there. The gentle sounds of wind and water are a nice recompense for no ships worth hunting on this way back. Oh my god. Okay. Let's put some more crew on here. Let's hire 13 people to replace the people lost. Let's process it. That's the other thing. The port UI is laggy. Like, things just take a surprising amount of time. I won't even bother repairing that. But I will take the Russian vodka and the Danish yeasts. And I will move that to the docks. Find the damaged trader's brig. This is the one. Let's just break it up. Wait. Need to take its cannons off. Provisions. Provisions are always good. They can be hard to buy for love or money. Oak planks, blocks. That's pretty good. I'm in favor of that. Today's mission, PvP mission, is over here in the Yucatan Channel at Tumbado. So I'm not going to make it over to there. But I'm trying to show up for the ones when they're in the Windward Channel or down here in Hispaniola. Those are the local ones. When it's over at Nassau, that's all shallow water. I kind of like bigger ships. I don't know. I wouldn't have expected when I began playing this game that I would like bigger ships, but oh well. Russian vodka. Let's see what that sells for. In the map, open the trader tool, type in the thing you want to sell, bring it down to a reasonable distance, a few nearby ports, right? So I can sell it for 527 at Deadman's. Tax revenue would go to us, at least. Or I can sell it for 539 here at Atwood. Tax revenue goes to Vino, or decent clan. Or, come on, where's Mortimer? Could I draw the circle too close? Mortimer can sell it for like 3 times that. Alright, well that's compelling. I'll probably haul this down to Mortimer for the extra, even though the tax revenue goes to no one. And Danish yeasts for making Danish beer. Right? So, again, come on, Mortimer. There we go. Mortimer, I can sell it for $9.89, or here I can sell it for $2.86. About the same at Deadman's. In fact, they seem to produce it. Well, not produce, whatever P is. Or P is produce, A is, I don't know, generate. C with a dot is consume, so Mortimer Town actually consumes, which means that their price is consistently higher. Yeah, both of these can get hauled down to Mortimer. Mortimer is a great hub for pirates because they consume almost every kind of good, except for, contraband, stolen things that are pirate goods already. Black Rat TV. This is the PvP server, yeah. The PvE server is less interesting. Like, I really wish that you could flag whether you were in PvP mode or not, or something like that, instead of it just being always PvP. But the PvE server, you can't take ports because that's intrinsically a PvP activity. And so most of the ports are just neutral, except for like the green zones. Pirate green zone, English green zone, Spanish green zone. And you're just, you know, totally safe sailing around unless you choose to attack. And I think there's a little bit of quality of game design from the thrill of, oh no, I might get attacked as you're like carrying a precious cargo or something like that. So, yep, this is PvP. That's where most of the active people playing actually are anyway, so. Alright, let's take a look at the account. Like I promised I would. Even though we've been going on for an okay amount of time, I'd like to take it out at least a little bit. Got some repairs on it. Need a bit more XP on it. Should be good. Checking the combat news. Grindstone, Pedro K. So, where is Pedro K again? Here we go. It's down in British lands. I think we're fine. No one prowling up near Atwood. Anyway, like I was saying, I'll bring the Requin out for a little bit, even though it's been going on for a while and I don't want to necessarily drag this on for forever. But let's try our best. Come on. Here's the cat. Here's Cat again. Let's try our best to catch that trader's brig. Black Rat says, I started the other day and I'm in PvE so far for safety while learning. Yeah, that's what I did too. It's not a bad strategy. You will have a quicker start on the PvP server usually because there are more people like looking to sort of help out new players. But it still is nice to sort of start in PvE and just feel like you know which way is up, you know? Yeah. Switch when you can defend yourself. Exactly. There are a bunch of UI elements in this game that are still, like, you know, very much clearly in alpha and need some work. So if you lose a ship because of a bad UI element and are very, like, frustrated, it's one thing when that's, like, PvE. But if you lose it PvP because of a bad UI element, that's rage quit territory. And who needs that, right? So here we go. Adjusting the xebec sails, even though they don't appear to be adjusting in, like, reality? I don't know. There we go. This is a good position. I will have them dead to rights. Finishing up my tea. That's the other thing. I can go through scotch very slowly. Tea, I drink a bit more quickly. Alright, let's get some chain shot. Let's make all sail. Let's zoom out a little bit. Let's admire this xebec with 250 crew on this little thing. Like, this is way over crewed. I don't know what historical sources they drew from for it, but I mean, a xebec frigate might have like that much, I guess, and they can't really handle like changing sail plans mid-battle like you would. I mean, you wouldn't mid-battle, but you would, like, you know, in the open world effectively change your ship from a xebec to a frigate. Let's do this. Alright, sales at 88%. That's good. Well, Black Rat, if you do switch over to the PvP server, consider the Pirate Nation if you want to be at war with everyone. And come and find me and see about joining up with Not. We're generally good folks, I find. So that would be fun. And very definitely into sort of helping new players. The fellow who started the clan just loves making ships and sending out ships to anyone who asks. As do I, frankly, so. their sails are a wreck. And that LGV is an AI that got pulled in? Maybe? That's definitely not like a human name, I don't think. I mean, you know what I mean. Like, does not look like the sorts of name that a player in this game would take. Don't want to get stern raked in this. That is not my idea of a good time. The clan that I am part of is called NOT, which stands for Nation of Thieves, but we keep talking about changing what it stands for without changing the tag. So, you know. Here we go. Reload shock. That's what I like to see. Let's let these sails out a little bit. In fact, that should be enough to almost kill our speed. Except that this ship loses speed very slowly, having such a good design. And as the wind adjusts just slightly, I'll pick up speed again. Sail backwards really efficiently in this too. Backing those sails. Backing them as fast as I can. There we go. Now I'm like 6 knots backwards. See, you don't get that in a square-rigged vessel. I'm keeping this vessel between me and the other one. And I would definitely like to board them, except I'd love to board them, except that I'm really going for XP, which means just do as much damage as you can. Whoa, let those sails out. Let them out. That was okay. Yeah, this thing does not handle like a normal ship, like a normal square-rigged vessel. It is very interesting, very different. You sort of have to pay a lot of attention to your sails and how they are in relation to the wind, because that'll adjust your speed really rapidly. I'm now going to auto-skipper and zoom out of here before they can get a good broadside in on me. Come back around to Ermengamboa. What is that AI doing? The AI really likes adjusting its sails. Not my idea of a perfect Sunday. Come on. Millie Colonge? The J can be pronounced too many ways with the languages available in this game. I'm going to just cut across them. Try and pretend that they're not there. Take my lumps for now. Be useful against my actual target. And don't go dead into the wind like a fool. Even though this handles really well into the wind. It's a lovely vessel. It really is. So, like, on a normal square rig vessel, if you wanted to make your turn tighter, the sort of thing you would do would be take your foresail and your main and mizzen and adjust them, but here I don't think it works quite like I would expect. Normally I would do this to turn the nose faster or slower and to turn the tail separately, stern, whatever. And I think, nose and tail, what is this, a plane? I think that works when you're really downwind or really upwind in the xebec, but not so much when you are more across the wind. Do not have the angle quite right on this, which meant that broadside fell short. I'm going to have to repair soon too, so I'm actually taking a bit of a beating, but not too much of one right now. This thing also has 4 bow chasers, but they are tiny. In fact, too tiny to take chain shot, and too tiny to effectively hit at much range. So like, great, I just peppered them, right? What does it do? Nothing. This is fine. I think it's more interesting. 2-on-1. 1-on-1 just chasing shipping is a little bit unfair. Apparently I'm making 12 knots, but it does not feel like it. Their sails are somewhat wrecked, and yet I'm just sluggishly inching towards the broadside. Maybe I'm just spoiled. There we go. Let's see if this sail adjustment actually does tighten my turn. Ooh, I damaged their pump, and they're already in a bad way. So this might be the last moment. Come on. That did not work. Black Rat says, what vessel is this? Looks like my basic cutter, but a size that makes it actually intimidating. This is called Le Requin. It is a xebec. That is the style of boat. These are 3 lateen sails. It's got something that's not technically a bowsprit. It's a really interesting vessel. It was used for a lot of shipping in the Mediterranean. Surprisingly shallow draft. Handles really well upwind like a cutter. But a lot of xebecs, and this one included, were a little bit more heavily gunned and crewed. And were used by a lot of groups like Barbary pirates, for example. With the right upgrades on this, it can be pretty fearsome. It's also available for a paid DLC, and the way they do the paid ships in this game is that you can get one up to once a day as long as you don't already have one. So I guess that makes sense because you don't want to like pay for it and then sink it and not have it again. But at the same time, it does mean that if you pay for the Requin, you can just treat it as completely disposable, which some people do, and it's very effective for shallow water battles. It's shallow draft. This thing can go on the Bahama Bank. So yeah, it's like a perfect pirate vessel. It's got a sailing profile that includes a pretty good performance at almost every point of sail. Sorry if I was just talking loud. My broadsides were in my ears. So close to sinking it. Let's move this around. So yeah, the fore and aft rigged lateen sails, which also can function well for downwind with this sort of wing and wing configuration like this, are really, really interesting. because they, as I say, let it behave pretty well almost every point of sail. There they go. But you can't control the quantity of sail as easily. Like on a larger vessel, you can say, I want to take in the royals. I want to take in the topgallants. I want to just, get a little bit less wind, slow myself down. Whoa, right. Yes, if I try and do this tight turn upwind, it makes me go shooting backwards. That is intense. Alright, let's go as upwind as we dare. Still going over 10 knots at like 5 degrees off the wind. This is ridiculous. Good. Well, not good, but acceptable that the LGV escaped. So it's hard to control your speed in this. You have to really just make your sails be parallel to the wind, and going almost into the wind is one way to do it. Batavian spices and iron ore. I can get iron ore anywhere. I'll take the spices, even though that puts me way overweight. But I had to sink them because part of my goal was to get XP. So now I'm going to chug slowly back to port. Depending on how slow it is, we might end there. Don't want to subject you to another very slow... There's the LGV. I guess they were an AI that got pulled in. Anyway, it's hard to control your speed in an LGV, or in a requin, in a xebec like this, because your usual sort of ways of like managing your square yards just don't even apply. And you can't make there be less sail as easily. If you turn your sails, like if you turn your yards, I mean I guess they're lateen yards, but they're still yards. If you turn your yards, oh my god, 1 knot downwind, alright. If you turn your yards in a xebec, it will actually adjust your heading pretty extremely. Like, you need to just sort of let the sails out if you want to slow down, and bring them just a bit in if you want to speed up, and auto skipper will just make you go zipping around. It's really impressive. Anyway, at 1 knot, headed almost on a dead run back to harbor, I am going to leave the stream there and see you next week. Thank you for stopping by.